other than the falling of the shares, what other impact do you think impact this failure?
Maybe I can answer that question. When Chrysler and Daimler merged, they initially made a plan to have a common base, like a base of operations, like I did in the US or in Europe. But they couldn't agree on that. So at the first stage itself, they had two HQs, one in UK, one in US. So whenever they had a meeting, they always had a debate, where should we have the meeting? Should it be in the States or should it be in Germany? That's one concern. Second concern was that since the merger was together, companies merged together, they couldn't decide where to do the production of the cars. Was it for Chrysler and Daimler, they wanted to have a fixed location for production and for any works after that, but then they couldn't agree on certain small areas. The prices of the share falling was the last straw, but there was many issues in between as well.
Like just to add on, apart from the share prices of the financial itself, when German culture was being imposed onto Chrysler, there were a lot of key executives in Chrysler who left the management, and when the key players left the management, the employees who were under them kind of didn't trust the Daimler managers to be able to look through them. So this kind of had an impact of how Chrysler was being drifted into the no man's land as well.
Hope we answered your question.
Yeah. Anyone else? Did you happen to understand everything? It's okay.
Yeah.
Feel free to ask questions.
We'll try this.
Yeah, so
Can I clarify with you? You're saying that Tata, right? They actually kept their existing cultures. So for the Daimler and Chrysler, did they keep their own culture, or they are trying to merge it as well?
no, the problem was that they didn't keep. They initially wanted to keep the same culture as it is, but then when Chrysler was not performing well, they kind of, instead of coming up with a culture and addressing the issues, they kind of started imposing the German culture onto Chrysler.
I just want to add on because Tata and JLR case is not really exactly the same as Chrysler and Daimler, because it's Tata acquired JLR, and although the culture didn't change a lot, but they have already communicate with them a lot and collect the feedbacks from them, and developing the company's strategy over the time, so make the success.
Yeah, they already had an experience in acquiring, and usually when it goes to acquisitions, the company who's acquiring the other company tends to impose the culture, so it's a different thing altogether.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Because just now you say that a way is to have a third culture, as in a combination of the culture, right? So will that pose problem, like if some of them are very strict about their culture, they don't want to change anything?
Yeah, so that's why we said there
As in,
should
if you mix the strong points together, very important, but what if like one party very stubborn, then they want to change anything? Would it be better if both of them just maybe draw a line that cannot be any change of any rules in the country?
Yeah. So what we proposed was, before the merger itself, if you understand the differences and the goals you want to approach, probably you can come to a middle point where you want to see how to run the company. Hope that answers your question. So there might be differences in the approaches because you are two different companies, but in order to not let the productivity fall, the important factors need to be sit and discussed, and you need to reach to a conclusion or to a middle point so that you can solve the differences. Any more?
Last questions.
One last question.
Let's
After the workshop, right, when they know that there's so much difference in between the two companies, why isn't any measures taken to on them further?
Okay, I can give you a brief history. The merger was decided based on top two level management. The lower management didn't have any idea about the merger until, like, let's say a week before the merger was signed. So they weren't aware what's happening. So when the workshops were done after the merger, they didn't have much of a say. Either join the merged company, or leave.
But they can like improve their relationships. You know, like since there's a difference already, but then they can do something to make sure that it won't lead to a separation.
They tried incorporating, having a compromise on certain aspects, but when it comes to efficiency and production, those are the two key points where the merger was supposed to hold on to. Since they compromised on those two areas, they felt that some things cannot be changed, and then they stuck to that procedure. So in that sense, they didn't change much. They only helped to compromise on certain aspects, but when it comes to productivity and efficiency, they didn't change any more than they can.
Because that is what defined Chrysler's profits so far. The key point was to be efficient and all these qualities, but then if they had to compromise on it, then they would lose their own identity, which would seem to people that Chrysler has changed and might not be as efficient as it is before, or it is changing its vision overall. So that might have a significant impact on their brand image as well. They compromised wherever they could, but their key employees left, their CEO left, German culture is being imposed. They felt that they had no say in anything that's going on.
Okay, so in short, is the top management supposed to be taking the blame because they never consult the people on the ground before taking actions and then signing the contract? Which lead to certain.
In my opinion, yes. When you do a merger acquisition, you should test the waters first. You should ask your employees if they are willing, and it's not possible to get 100% yes or no. It's like getting, for example, you want to join. I'll give you a local context. You say for HDB going on block, like being selling off to others, you cannot get the full consensus, but you must get the 90% consensus. 10% you must try to compromise and see how you can help them. In this sense, Daimler and Chrysler should have talked to each other, yes. Following that, they should have talked to their own employees first. Following that, they do a detailed plan on merger, how they wish to do so. If not, eventually, it may last for 2 years, 3 years. But after 10 years, they may not be happy, and then the profits may go downhill all the way. So it's top down. So, I hope I answered your question.
Any more?
If there's no question,